This is CTV News with Nafisa Kareem.
We wanted to get it more for the overall member safety. There's a big push in the fire service right now for mental health, general physical health.
Tonight, carcinogenic coats. Volunteer firefighters on the Mid-Island are using a new piece of tech to clean cancer-causing chemicals from their everyday gear. Also tonight.
In a word to sum it up, it's a challenge, and it has been a challenge for a number of years.
Short on staff. A look inside the situation at the Saanich Police Department as they continue to struggle with inconsistent staffing. Plus, Adam finds out why a woman who plays the ukulele stops to appreciate the sunset. Later on the Sawatsky sign-off. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. When firefighters run towards flames, they're not just risking coming home with burns. The research is piling up about the chemical threats they also take back to the station with them. And now a small volunteer station in Parksville is getting some new technology to keep their firefighters safe. Here's CTV's Andy Garland.
It looks like a common household appliance.
A big commercial dishwasher.
But it's not for dishes.
There's been some jokes about hockey equipment.
Nor is it for hockey equipment, but rather for cleaning firefighting equipment after a fire.
This is our decontamination washer. We can fit cylinders in. There are different racks for different pieces of equipment.
Firefighters' PPE, like self-contained breathing apparatuses, air cylinders, and face pieces, are loaded into the machine after every call to be properly decontaminated.
When we're going into a structure fire, lots of smoke, carcinogens, things we don't even know how to pronounce half the time, right? But they're there, they're on our gear. We don't want to bring that back into the hall, back into our members, back to our families.
The decontamination washer cost $40,000 and was funded by the UBCM's Community Emergency Preparedness Volunteer Fund.
We wanted to get it more for the overall member safety. There's a big push in the fire service right now for mental health, general physical health.
Other departments on the island are looking at ways to improve safety for their members as well, like Esquimalt Fire Rescue Service. They're in the process of replacing all their turnout gear to gear that does not have the PFAS chemicals embedded in the garments, which has been linked to cancer.
To know that that last layer of defense is linked to a threat such as cancer, it's concerning for everybody.
Members still perform a decontamination routine on scene, removing larger debris and contaminants. But once back at the hall, the machine will eliminate hand washing the gear, saving valuable time and making it more effective.
To the hall, we just use a hand scrub. You wear natural gloves in the sink or out on the apron just with a brush and some soap and water.
The volunteer department would like to get additional funding to install a gear dryer, which will increase their response time even more. Andy Garland, CTV News, Parksville.
Some welcome news for BC businesses as the province's Minister of Economic Growth announces new measures to enhance interprovincial trade. Minister Ravi Kahlon was in Victoria today for the announcement of the Canadian Mutual Recognition Agreement, which looks to remove regulatory barriers to the free movement of goods across provinces and territories in the face of economic threats from the U.S. The agreement, which is decades in the making, will allow local businesses to expand their reach throughout the country without added labels, approvals, or testing.
We are creating one agreement, one market, and unlimited opportunity across the country. This means stronger BC economy and more jobs across industry. We're talking billions in unlocked potential. Research shows that removal of internal trade barriers through mutual recognition could boost Canada's GDP by up to $200 billion.
With BC sitting as a lead chair, the agreement will fall under the Canadian Free Trade Reconciliation process and is touted as the largest red tape reduction in Canadian history. Now to a smelly problem. Officials with the Capital Regional District have been using up to 50 vac trucks a day to drive treated solid waste to the Heartland Treatment Facility. For the last 5 days, crews have been trying to find a blockage in an underground pipeline from the McLaughlin Point wastewater treatment plant. They were doing annual maintenance when a capsule-like tool called a pig got stuck. That tool is used to scrape debris off the sides of the residual solids conveyance line. Teams have been sending cameras down it to try and find the pig, and they think they're close in the Gorge and Tillicum area in Esquimalt.
We expect that it's a buildup of sediment and debris in the line, but we'll get a better idea once we get eyes on it. In the meantime, we are needing to transport all of our solids from the McLaughlin wastewater treatment plant up to the residual treatment facility, and we are using many vac trucks in order to do that.
The CRD is thanking the public for its support, while some neighborhoods might notice foul smells, more noise, and traffic delays. Staff hope to resolve the situation in the next 24 hours, and they don't know yet how much it's going to cost. A summertime mainstay for many island families is asking for your help through the colder months. Beacon Hill Children's Farm is hoping you'll think of them this holiday season. The Victoria Farm has a program to sponsor its animals. The donations care for them through the winter and make sure they all have full tummies while the center is closed to visitors.
It costs between $25, which is small animals, and there's large animals. You can also donate hay for a day. The animals eat $75 per day of hay, or a vet visit $150. So there is a range of prices, small or big, and any donation helps.
Anyone who picks an animal will receive a sponsorship certificate, which staff hope will make a thoughtful gift. You can support the fundraiser online at beaconhillchildrensfarm.ca. And with the cold, wet weather upon us, the Our Place drop-in center in Victoria says its clients are in desperate need of clean, dry socks and underwear. And today, they got a little help from a longtime volunteer. Margaret Schaefer, with some help from her friends at the Oak Bay United Church, dropped off 51 pairs of brand new socks and 318 pairs of new underwear. In late September, the church group decided to do something for those accessing Our Place's services with the weather getting colder, and the decision was made to, well, sock it to them, putting out a challenge to collect 100 items, which the team surpassed.
I know how desperate we've been for socks and underwear since COVID, because people are not donating like they used to. They're starting to come back, but it's gradual, as you probably know. It's awesome. It's an honor to be able to do this.
People don't realize what an impact it has when they donate socks, because as you can imagine, it's really tricky to focus on housing or recovery or, job programs if your feet are wet and they're hurting.
The Oak Bay United Church is challenging other organizations in the region to do the same. The Victoria Hand Project has just returned from Nepal, where it outfitted amputees with low-cost prosthetic arms. And now the charity is directing its focus on its ongoing work in war-torn Ukraine. In June 2023, the registered charity established 2 clinics in the west of Ukraine. Since then, more than 150 amputees have been outfitted with prosthetic limbs, most of those soldiers who were severely injured during the almost 4-year war with Russia. The Victoria Hand Project relies on donations from the public to do its work, providing the prosthetics at no cost. On December 2nd, the charity will be holding a fundraising event at the Victoria Ukrainian Cultural Center, which will include dinner, entertainment, and a silent auction, with all proceeds going towards its work in Ukraine.
Many arm amputees, even those that are soldiers that have lost their arm in the war, have been waiting 6 months, 12 months, maybe even a little bit longer for their own prosthetic device, and they haven't been able to receive them. And I think that has been very discouraging for them, especially when they lost their arm in the fighting and hoping for that support. But there's such an overwhelming need for the prosthetics at this time.
Tickets are $75 and can be purchased on the Victoria Hand Project's website. In recent weeks, CTV News has been taking a close look at the challenges and inner workings of the policing ecosystem on Vancouver Island. We're continuing that coverage tonight, focusing on one department in particular, Saanich. CTV's Anna McMillan sat down with the chief to get a better understanding of the department's staffing situation and opportunities for growth.
Overall, the staffing situation right now is fairly stable.
Though stable, Saanich Police Chief Dean Duthie says staffing is not without its challenges.
It's really important to recognize that as community grows and different challenges are emerging in the public safety sector, that police departments remain agile and adaptive and responsive to this.
SPD has budgetary approval for 172 officers, and Duthie says going forward, it needs at least another 2 every year.
Looking at how we can respond to the community growth on an incremental level to ensure that our officers are not taking on increasing workloads that has detrimental effects, which can then decrease the value and quality of service.
As of early November, 10 of SPD's sworn positions were unfilled, 14 members were recruits in training, and 7 were on leave for various reasons. Duthie says those numbers have already fluctuated and will continue to, with hires and retirements on the horizon.
Although we are not at full strength, the spots that we have that we need to be filled are not compromising our service delivery.
CTV News obtained the staffing numbers through a Freedom of Information request after asking for them in September. A spokesperson declined to share the data at that time, saying the department was waiting for the results of an organizational review to better understand staffing needs and numbers.
It's not reflecting any kind of transparency concern. People may not understand what that means and where those vacancies actually lie.
As other island chiefs flag staffing instabilities, the Victoria Police Department is awaiting provincial approval for a pop-up training academy. Both Duthie and Saanach's mayor support the idea with a caveat about quality.
As long as those training modules contributed to somebody being fully trained and into service.
SPD is presenting its budget request to Council on December 1st, so it's not yet clear if any of the asks are for additional officers.
We have to find the right staffing numbers so officers are not overburdened every single shift they report for duty.
Anna McMillan, CTV News, Saanich.
5 municipal police officers in BC have been dismissed for misconduct in the last fiscal year, including 1 officer from Saanich. A new report from BC's Office of the Police Complaint Commissioner showed that 64 officers had committed a combined 95 counts of misconduct, with imposed penalties ranging from reprimands to dismissal. One incident is connected to a member of Saanich Police Department who was disciplined in a case of off-duty sexual misconduct that involved entering a person's residence without invitation and the initiation of sexual contact without consent. The officer in question then resigned before the misconduct investigation could be concluded. Still to come, the entire population of southern resident orcas have been spotted all together. Plus,
the physical inactivity is linked to chronic disease. It's linked to depression.
a national report card on fitness sees millions of Canadians falling short on weekly exercise numbers. A little cool if you want to go out and exercise. 7 degrees and light wind. Josh will be back after the break with a full forecast.
CTV weather brought to you by Expedia Cruises. Plan, book, and safeguard your journeys. Explore the possibilities at expediacruises.ca.
What makes West Shore Parks and Recreation a perfect place to play? It's our staff, working behind the scenes to keep the pool safe, kids engaged, and programs thriving. So apply today and join our team.
Time to check in with Josh in the weather department. Josh, fairly mild and dryish.
Thanks, Nafisa. Not bad temperatures over the next couple of days, and just some occasional showers in the Victoria area. We'll see some heavier rain. We'll give you some rainfall totals in a second. Some heavier rain elsewhere in the island. Overnight tonight, a few scattered showers. Tomorrow morning, you got some showers here out along the west coast that move through parts of the inland island. By late in the day tomorrow, starting to see some rain moving through northern sections of the island. That'll stick around into Friday morning and start to move south through the course of the day Friday. So by Friday afternoon, we've got rain in the forecast for the Victoria area. Some more rain possible on Saturday as well. In the north, breezy, gusts to about 50 kilometers per hour and a high of 9 tomorrow. Good chance of some showers or periods of rain starting late in the day tomorrow, and then 15 to 30 millimeters of rain through the course of the day. Friday could see some heavy rain as well late Saturday. Sunday looks like the nicer of the 2 days this weekend with a mix of sun and cloud. Breezy for inland areas, gusts to about 40 kilometers per hour. Chance of showers, especially in the morning tomorrow, and it's going to be really scattered in nature. High of 8 degrees tomorrow. That's a couple of degrees above average. Up to 10 on Friday, but wet. 15 to 30 millimeters for some sections. Some more rain late Saturday and into Sunday, with temperatures dropping back into the 6 or 7 range early next week. 11 and a few showers out of the west coast tomorrow. Windy as well. Gusts could be 50 to 60 kilometers per hour. You get about 30 to 60 millimeters of rain on Friday with a high of 12. A break early Saturday, but then late in the day Saturday, some more rain out on the west coast. Windy for the next couple of days, gusts to about 50 kilometers per hour in Comox. Mostly cloudy tomorrow, high of 9. Just a slight chance of a hit and miss shower. For most of the day, you're going to be dry. Rain on Friday, though, and late Saturday into Sunday. Some more rain in the forecast. Nanaimo, highs of 10 for Thursday, Friday. Mix of sun and cloud tomorrow. Chance of showers for Friday. It doesn't look as steady as what potentially is coming on Saturday. And those showers on Friday probably roll in late in the day. That's the case in Victoria as well. High of 11 tomorrow. Chance of an evening shower. But for most of the day, just a mix of sun and cloud. Chance of some showers on Friday and then steadier rain for Saturday and possibly Sunday as well. CTV weather is brought to you by Expedia Cruises for air, land, and sea vacations.
Thanks, Josh. BC's endangered southern resident killer whales have shown up in massive numbers along the Salish Sea. Upwards of 74 southern resident orcas were spotted swimming to and from Seattle, forming what's known as a superpod through the Puget Sound and into the Strait of Juan de Fuca. Now, according to researchers at the Orca Behavior Institute, the rare event occurred over a 2-day period between November 9th and 11th and involved every member of southern residents J, K, and L pods. A large swath of orcas was last seen off the coast of Seattle before the pods set off in their separate ways. Some coastal First Nations off Bella Bella are pointing to an active marine emergency happening in their waters right now, saying this latest incident highlights the potential for more problems when it comes to opening up tanker traffic.
When you think about the potential of an increased tanker traffic and increased traffic in this part of the world, it's only a matter of time before something else happens.
Some of the hundreds of sea cans on this massive listing barge are barely above the waterline, and it's still unclear what's in them. The barge en route from Alaska to Seattle began taking on water Tuesday morning in Fisher Channel, about 15 kilometers east of Bella Bella in Heiltsuk territory. Divers have found multiple holes in the hull of the barge. For now, it has not caused any pollution in the water. The barge is apparently stable for the time being. Another barge with a crane is en route to offload the cargo. Turning now to a new national update that's highlighting how much or how little Canadians move their bodies.
Physical inactivity is linked to chronic disease. It's linked to depression. There are also economic costs. That inactivity costs Canada approximately $3.9 billion per year in healthcare expenditure, and even a modest 15% relative increase in physical activity would save nearly $1 billion per year.
According to the 2025 Participation Report, only 46% of Canadian adults are meeting the weekly guideline of 150 minutes of exercise, which is down from 49% in 2021. Guy Faulkner suggests we need a, quote, whole society approach to improve the situation, like creating walkable, bikeable communities. Coming up, Sunset soundtrack. Adam finds out why a woman driving home from a ukulele lesson felt so compelled to stop and watch the sunset. Next on the Sawatsky Sign-Off.
107.3 Virgin Radio is Victoria's #1 hit music station. Home of Bailey and Johnny in the morning. Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to 107.3 Virgin Radio everywhere.
Finally, Adam finds out why a woman who plays the ukulele regularly stops to appreciate the sunset on the Sawatsky Sign-Off.
Ginny Glover was driving home from a ukulele practice when she couldn't help but stop to watch the setting sun.
Look at this. I mean, you have to be pointing that way because it's so beautiful. When there's something that beautiful, you have to stop, don't you?
And seeing as you've stopped, why not take a picture?
That could be a beautiful painting.
like when Ginny lived overseas and took these photos.
It was one of my very favorite things to do.
And still is one of the things she says in her toolkit.
Whenever you're feeling low or having a tough time, it's just having things in your life that you can go to that really bring you joy.
The other tool in her kit, Ginny says, is the ukulele,
because it is such a happy instrument,
which she agrees to play as a soundtrack to the setting sun.
How about this one? Try a little kindness. You've got to try a little kindness.
It's a song about lending a hand to those in need and being kind to folks with who we disagree.
Just shine your light on everyone you see.
And as the setting sun shines its light, Ginny invites everyone to see.
I mean, honestly, you need to be looking
that no matter what you're in the middle of doing.
Okay, can I grab it from
Sure.
you? Okay.
I need to look.
You do need to look at that.
That no matter how your day unfolded, if you take a moment, it can always end with a burst of beauty.
Just shine your light on everyone you see.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Victoria.
What a great way to end off tonight. That is it for CTV News Vancouver Island. Thank you so much for joining us. Good night. Today on CTV News, pipeline pushback.
When you think about the potential of an increased tanker traffic and increased traffic in this part of the world, it's only a matter of time before something else happens.
Alberta and Ottawa get close to a deal on a new pipeline, while First Nations point to potential disaster, like the sinking barge near Bella Bella. Also tonight.
Really sad, but also happy because she's in a good place now.
A grief and a pain that I could never imagine.
An outpouring of grief as family and friends remember the little girl who died in a fall from a Vancouver high-rise balcony. And
there's a cow running loose in the middle of the highway.
An utterly ridiculous chase on a highway. How officers had to round up a runaway cow in the dark.
This is CTV News with Nafisa Kareem.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. We begin tonight with a round of pipeline politics that's pitting province against province, along with BC First Nations. CTV News has learned Ottawa and Alberta are close to a deal on a new pipeline. CTV's Legislative Bureau Chief Rob Buffum joins us live from Victoria. Rob, a pipeline from Alberta will have to go through BC, so what is the NDP government's response?
Well, Nafisa, the BC NDP have been adamant in their opposition to a new pipeline and in their support for the oil tanker ban. Today, its members doubled down on that position. The pushback came, though, as CTV has confirmed that talks are indeed progressing between Ottawa and Alberta and has learned that an announcement regarding a memorandum of understanding for a pipeline and potentially an exemption to the oil tanker ban could happen as early as the end of the week. BC's energy minister today repeated the province's opposition.
There's no proponent. There's no route. There's a tanker ban that BC strongly supports. The project does not make economic sense. There are alternative projects that make more sense for Canada and for Alberta. And our position is unchanged. And it's all very well to talk about memorandums of understanding for projects that will have no take-or-pay contracts.
Various First Nations, including coastal First Nations, have also been clear in their opposition to lifting the oil tanker ban. Earlier this month, signing a declaration with the province to support that ban. Interestingly, various Liberal MPs today weighed in on this, including Jonathan Wilkinson, a BC MP and former Energy and Environment Minister, who said, in his view, his understanding would be that the BC government would have to support the idea and a significant number of First Nations would also for it to go ahead. So we may find out in the next few days if it goes ahead. Anyways, Nafisa.
Rob Buffum, live for us in Victoria. Thank you, Rob. Now, some coastal First Nations already voicing strong opposition to the idea of a new pipeline to the North Coast, saying it presents an unacceptable environmental risk. CTV's Ben Milger has more on a currently active marine emergency they say highlights the potential for problems.
Some of the hundreds of sea cans on this massive listing barge are barely above the waterline, and at this point, it's unclear what's in them.
We have put out oil containment boom around 3 important salmon creeks in the area, as well as around some of our important cultural features. So we're just trying to be proactive in a worst-case scenario.
The barge, en route from Alaska to Seattle, began taking on water Tuesday morning in Fisher Channel, about 15 kilometers east of Bella Bella in Heiltsuk territory.
They found multiple holes that had been punctured into the bottom of the hull of the barge, so obviously it struck ground at some point.
The Heiltsuk Nation has voiced strong opposition to any proposed oil pipeline to the north coast, largely over concerns something similar could happen with a tanker carrying up to 2 million barrels of oil.
There's fuels just flowing out of the boat.
In October 2016, an American tug ran aground and sank, spilling about 700 barrels of diesel and heavy oils. The Heiltsuk Nation says the effects of that spill are still being felt as some traditional seafood harvesting areas remain closed to its members. For now, the listing barge has not caused any pollution in the water, but the nation says it has stressed its marine emergency response capacity.
When you think about the potential of an increased tanker traffic and increased traffic in this part of the world, it's only a matter of time before something else happens. We've seen more and more incidents like this over the past 10 years.
The barge, which is apparently stable for the time being, has been towed into an area more sheltered from the weather. Another barge with a crane is en route to offload the cargo. Dunlap Towing, the Washington state company which owns the tug, could not be reached for comment. Ben Milger, CTV News, Vancouver.
The province is touting a new trade deal, but it's not with another country. It's an agreement to make it easier for BC businesses to sell their products across this country. CTV's Dimitra Marigas joins us live now. And Dimitra, it's called the Canadian Mutual Recognition Agreement. What more can you tell us?
And Nafisa, that's exactly right. The province says this agreement was decades in the making and describes it as the largest red tape reduction in Canada's history. Now, the agreement essentially breaks down interprovincial trade barriers, making it easier to buy and sell goods between the provinces. That means businesses no longer have to search through the rules of 14 different jurisdictions to figure out what requirements they must meet to sell their products. Essentially, if a product can be legally sold in one province or territory, it can be sold in another without additional approvals, saving money and time. The initiative will cover thousands of products. However, it does exclude food.
It means more choices, competitive pricing, and some same trusted standards across the country. And for global investors and companies, we're talking about ease of doing business, reliable and high sustainable standards, and integrated supply chains.
Now, the deal could add $200 billion annually to Canada's bottom line and increase the GDP by nearly 8%. He also spoke with the president and CEO of Wine BC, who doesn't anticipate this having a huge impact on the wine industry right now, but believe it uncorks future opportunities.
This is absolutely a good step in the right direction to try and unlock all these interprovincial trade barriers that have been in place for far too long.
Now, the CMRA will come into effect next month. Nafisa?
Thanks, Dimitra. A rest stop along Highway 1 in Abbotsford that turned into a large encampment has now been shut down by the province, but critics say the people who still live there were not given any notice. The Cole Road rest stop is jammed with dozens of RVs, some of them abandoned, as well as heaps of garbage. Last week, the province put up closed signs and shut off water, locked bathrooms, and cut off access to the Sani dump. Abbotsford police say they've had 72 calls for service to the rest stop this year, ranging from requests for assistance to violent crimes and fires.
What's been taking place is unacceptable. It was decided the best thing to do was actually to shut the site down, and that means the decommissioning of services.
I actually think it's very cruel. It's extremely cruel. A lot of people in the situation are very vulnerable right now.
Campers and homeless advocates say many of those living there are not involved in a criminal lifestyle and simply can't afford anywhere else to live, and they have nowhere to go. Dozens of people gathered in Squamish to say goodbye to the 8-year-old girl who fell from a Yaletown apartment balcony last week. Loved ones of Gandom Taheri came together at Mount Garibaldi Cemetery this afternoon to lay the young girl to rest. Many of those in attendance shared stories about how wonderful she was.
A grief and a pain that I could never imagine.
Really sad, but also happy because she's in a good place now.
Vancouver police are investigating her death. A GoFundMe has been set up for the mother who was 7 months pregnant to help pay for the funeral and other expenses. As of this afternoon, the donations have surpassed $42,000. Well, the Canucks continue to tread water.
Here's a pass to Lundell. He scores.
They remain in the bottom half of the Western Conference after a high-scoring 8-5 loss to Florida. Are there any bright spots as they head home? The Rinkside Report is next.
The Rinkside Report, brought to you by
CapitalDirect.ca. Let's make your vision a reality with Capital Direct.
The Vancouver Canucks are back home after a tough 3-game road trip against some of the East's top teams. While the Canucks have seen a surge in offense from their top players, struggles on the defensive end are a major cause for concern. Here's CTV's Ben Nesbitt with this week's Rinkside Report.
After a lengthy flight home from Florida, the Canucks were back on the ice Wednesday morning, much of their time spent in the defensive end, trying to tighten things up after the defending champion Panthers ran up the score on them.
Anytime you give up 7, won't count the empty net, but it's going to be hard to win, so it was good practice.
After sitting out the first game of the road trip in Carolina, Quinn Hughes returned for the final 2 contests, recording 7 assists, giving him 10 in his last 3 games. After a slow start to the year by his standards, the captain feels he's hitting his stride.
I still feel like I can continue to improve, but I like where my game's at, and I feel like how I always feel, especially since I've been back from my first injury.
Elias Pettersson has also picked up his play, shaking off a sluggish start to the year offensively, recording 4 multi-point games in a row.
People were praising his defensive work early in the season, but there's got to be a bottom line for a player making $11.6 million.
While the Canucks' offense has been above average, their league-worst penalty kill and struggles adapting to a new system has left them almost dead last in goals against.
Under Rick Tocchet, they were a very good defensive team. They played as a 5-man defensive unit and, of course, had some terrific goaltenders there to back them up. That was more of a zonal system. Adam Foote is asking his players to mark other guys on the team man for man.
With the high-powered Dallas Stars in town Thursday night, any adjustments will need to be made quickly. Ben Nesbitt, CTV News, Vancouver.
The Rinkside Report, brought to you by Capital Direct.
CapitalDirect.ca.
We now know who will be taking over some of the massive retail space downtown that was left vacant by Nordstrom more than 2 years ago. Aritzia has announced it will be opening a new flagship boutique at Pacific Center. The shop will span 40,000 square feet across 4 floors, which is about 20% of the space previously occupied by Nordstrom. The Vancouver-based brand says the flagship will include details inspired by the Pacific Northwest, as well as a casual yet elevated dining concept. It is expected to open in 2027. Some good news for dog owners in South Surrey. Leashed dogs will now be allowed on the main walking path at Crescent Beach all year round. Surrey City Council voted in favor of the change following a successful pilot project over the summer that they say proved visitors and pets can share the park safely. The project also received strong public support, with more than 90% of survey respondents in support of making the change permanent. Previously, leashed dogs were only allowed on the main path from September to May. Well, we were spoiled with sunshine today, but is there change coming? Anne's forecast is after the break. And later, something for all you cats and kittens. We've got our Homeward Bound segment coming up, along with some happy adoption updates, thanks to our animal-loving viewers. We'll be right back. Very dramatic looking sky. This is the view from our camera on Grouse Mountain. And I needed sunglasses today, and I'm not mad about it.
Yeah, we saw the sun. It lasted longer than expected, which, yeah, nobody's complaining about. And then it did slowly cloud over with some sunny breaks through the afternoon. We do have a frontal system moving its way in, and that is causing some strong winds for Haida Gwaii, and it'll bring in some wet weather as well as we head into tomorrow morning. So for the North Coast, dry right now. It's wet and windy for Haida Gwaii. Into the overnight, we will see more rain on the way. And for us, a few showers for your early morning commute before it dries up. We will get some sunny breaks as we head into tomorrow afternoon. For the southern interior, you're looking at a mix of sun and cloud from Vernon right down to Sault. Temperatures between 8 and 9. Mostly sunny skies for Kamloops. Few clouds for Revelstoke, Nelson, and Cranbrook. For the central interior, sunny breaks for Prince George and Williams Lake. Quesnel, you're looking at mostly sunny skies with a high of 4. Showers along the coast for Bella Coola with a high of 7 degrees. You'll see showers for Masset, 9 degrees. Flurries transitioning over to showers for Prince Rupert and Terrace. Light snow for Dease Lake. You'll see a mix of sun and cloud for Fort Nelson right down to Smithers. For the North Island, showers for Port Hardy, Campbell River, and Comox, 9 degrees as highs. For the South Island, you're looking at showers for Tofino. Periods of rain for Port Alberni. Cloudy skies for Nanaimo with early morning showers clearing out of the way for the Southern Gulf Islands. Victoria, you'll enjoy a mix of sun and cloud. Showers for the Sunshine Coast, and 9. Cloudy up the Sea to Sky Highway, 8 for Squamish, 5 for Whistler, and for us across the lower mainland. A slight chance of morning showers, but it does dry up with some sunny breaks through the afternoon. Temperatures between 9 and 11 degrees. Heading into Friday, that's definitely when you're going to need your umbrellas. Light rain returns, 10 degrees. It'll be soggy for Saturday, easing off on Sunday, and then it clears up nicely as we head into Monday.
All right, thanks, Sam.
You're welcome.
It's time for Homeward Bound, our weekly segment where we introduce you to some furry friends from local rescues looking for their forever home.
Yes, here are some cats from the Vancouver Orphan Kitten Rescue Association, also known as VOCRA.
All right, meet Ursula and Sebastian, two inseparable sisters looking for their forever home. Sebastian is described as the playful acrobat, full of energy and charm. Ursula, more of a gentle observer and lover of snuggles. Now, because they share a deep bond, these 3-month-old kittens must be adopted together, and they'll thrive in a quiet home with adults or older kids.
Adorable. With a name like Stuffing, you better believe this little fluff ball is chock full of personality. The 2-month-old kitten loves wrestling toys and her siblings as much as curling up for cozy cuddles and purrs. Stuffing needs a home where she'll have a fellow feline to share her adventures and snuggles with.
That face.
I know.
Finally, we have Ghost and Nymeria, the ultimate sibling duo of zoomies and cuddles. Ghost is an explorer who loves being the center of attention, while Nymeria is the princess of playtime and purrs. While they do keep each other endlessly entertained, and because of their bond, they need to be adopted together.
Aw, and exciting update from VOCRA. In the 2 months since we've launched Homeward Bound, 10 of the cats we've featured have found their forever homes. That includes 3 bonded pairs, as well as Brady, Seamus, Sprinky, and Gillian.
We have the best viewers.
We sure do. Thank you to them. And for more information about these kitties, head to vocra.ca.
Thanks, Sam.
You're welcome.
Well, after the break, we'll show you a real-life version of Battleship. Pardon me, with NATO testing a torpedo to sink an old vessel. And later,
we have the animal contained.
And what an animal. We'll show you scenes of utter chaos as officers tried to wrangle a runaway cow that got loose on a highway. Have a news tip, video, or photos of breaking news? From your screen to ours, when you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Email us at vantips@ctv.ca or text 10400.
It's time for both of us to fly!
A Wicked for Good is expected to fly to the top of the box office when it opens this weekend. Early projections show the musical adaptation will earn between $150 to $180 million US, shattering the last stage-to-screen record set by the first Wicked film. That brought in around $112 million. That could put the sequel in the running for the biggest movie launch of the year. A portrait with a complex history has become the most expensive work of modern art ever sold at auction.
Elizabeth later a portrait only at Sotheby's here in the Breuer. The Klimt, Julian, is yours. Congratulations. Congratulations.
The buyer remained anonymous, but this 6-foot-tall portrait by Austrian artist Gustav Klimt sold for more than $235 million at Sotheby's in New
David.
York.
Thank you very, very much indeed.
The piece was completed more than a century ago in 1916, but was looted by the Nazis during World War II and remained hidden from public view for decades. Now the preview of CTV News at 6, Mi Jung Lee.
Nafisa, it was an emotional day in Squamish where a funeral was held for an 8-year-old girl. Friends and family are remembering Gandon, who went to school in Squamish. Last week, she fell to her death from the 23rd story of a Yaletown condo. Questions remain about what led to her fall. And it's an exciting time for bird watchers. Tens of thousands of eagles have descended on the Harrison River. We'll take you to one of the largest eagle gatherings in the world. And a pipeline agreement between Ottawa and Alberta could be announced in the coming days. How BC's First Nations are responding to the news. I'll be back at 6. Nafisa?
Thanks, Mi Jung. A military exercise at sea sends a decommissioned ship to a watery grave using a torpedo, and cameras on board gave a terrifying first-person view of the moment of impact. CNN's Jeremy Roth has today's Take a Look at This.
Ever wonder what it would be like to be on the deck of a torpedoed ship? Me either, but get ready to find out. Incredible video from cameras placed on an unmanned Norwegian frigate shows the moment it's hit by a submarine's torpedo, literally lifting the vessel out of the water in a spectacular blast. The powerful POV perspectives come courtesy of NATO, which shared footage of the military live-fire exercise which targeted the decommissioned ship. The Norwegian, Polish, and British Royal Navies all participated in the exercise, which was really just a flex to verify and tout military submarine might, but you have to admit it provided a surreal and stunning view that would only be obtained otherwise by being in the wrong place at the wrong time. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Wow. I know, right? You have a previous life as a traffic specialist.
Yes.
So we've all been stuck in traffic for some pretty ridiculous reasons. But one highway south of the border was shut down for reasons we can only call utterly ridiculous.
Just letting you guys know, hopefully we get it open up very soon. But I'll be candid with you, there's a cow running loose on the highway. There's a cow running loose in the middle of the highway.
No, never. I wish I did.
Well, police were called to assist in the wrangling of Marigold, a 1,200-pound brown Highland cow who escaped from her trailer, Marigold. The highway was shut down for hours with the pursuit caught by the officers' body cameras. Marigold was finally put into custody and loaded back into her trailer thanks to a lasso and a bag of grain. The writer, Brett, came up with those puns. Thank you,
love
Brett.
that. All right, let's take a look at our scenic snapshot. Early morning fog in New Westminster. Thanks, Chris, for sending this beautiful photo in. And we want to see your scenic snapshot as well, so email us at scenicsnapshot@ctv.ca. And there's the new and old Patel Bridges.
I love the golden light and wisps of cloud. Very dramatic. Hey, Mi Jung will be back for CTV News at 6. Right now, here's Sandy Ronaldo, CTV National News. Good night.